News. Thank you for watching. I'm Darshana Gauchan, EAC News reporter. Thanks for watching us.
I'm Dekha Nim, Sales and Marketing Manager at EAC News. Thank you for joining us.
I am Honsare Ward, EAC News Channel Manager. Thank you for watching us.
EAC News, English language news show, Cambodia's most comprehensive. The Daily Roundup on the EAC News channel, shooting interviews into the field. And those pieces to camera. Join us and subscribe. We wouldn't want you to miss a thing. The Daily Roundup on the EAC News channel. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
You're watching EAC News.
Thanks for joining us. Watching EAC News, thank you for joining us. While inaugurating a new hospital outside of Phnom Penh this morning, Prime Minister Hun Manet promoted his vision for a quality healthcare sector in which people come first. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Techo Sante Phahip National Hospital this morning, the Prime Minister said that the Cambodian government will always be with the people, with the vision that all Cambodians will receive better health care and have access to qualified doctors. He promised that the government will ensure that the healthcare workers have ethics and professionalism, training, and the hospitals across the country will be adequately supplied with medicine and supplies to fulfill their duties. He promised that the first phase of the administration's economic Pentagon strategy would focus on well-being of all Cambodians. Infrastructure is a priority of the Pentagon strategy, and the Prime Minister noted that the medical facilities and digital technologies must be strengthened to meet his government goals. He also said the government is prepared to respond to any epidemic in the future and ensure that the lives of Cambodians people and that the government is not afraid to spend money to protect its citizens. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. During the interim between his time as Prime Minister and his upcoming role as President of the Senate, former Prime Minister Hun Sen remains President of the Cambodian People's Party and continues to meet with foreign leaders and business people. Earlier this month, he met with President of the Nippon Foundation, Yohei Sasakawa, who recommended the former Prime Minister's leadership skills be written down and studied. Today, former Prime Minister Hun Sen met with Kimura Masahiko, Japan's former Minister of Foreign Affairs and the former Vice President of the Liberal Democratic Party of Japan. During the meeting, the Japanese dignitary echoed much of the praise Mr. Sasakawa lavished on the former Prime Minister just 2 weeks ago, lauding him as a hero who liberated Cambodia from the Pol Pot regime and led the country to progress, peace, and prosperity. Like most who meet with the president of the Cambodian People's Party, the Japanese dignitary expressed surprise and admiration for the visible development Cambodia has undergone in the last 25 years under the leadership of Hun Sen and with billions of dollars in foreign loans. The two dignitaries expressed their satisfaction and pleasure at the progress of the comprehensive strategic relationship between the two countries, and they congratulated each other on keeping the peace in Cambodia since 1990. The two will jointly celebrate the 70th anniversary of Cambodia-Japan diplomatic relations at a fireworks display in front of the Royal Palace, scheduled for November 19th. Former Prime Minister Hun Sen added that Cambodia supports a free and open Indo-Pacific policy, which is based on three main goals: to serve peace and development, to remain neutral, and to support the common ground of ASEAN countries. He also praised the trade volume between the two countries and noted that despite the spread of COVID-19, Japanese investment to Cambodia has increased. He expressed the hope that Japan will continue to help Cambodia improve infrastructure, specifically noting the need of Sihanoukville Port to be deeper so that it can be a more competitive trade hub. Mr. Kimura said that he looks forward to welcoming CPP President Hun Sen to Japan for a medical checkup in the near future, as Cambodian leaders generally leave the country for healthcare. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. This morning, Prime Minister Hun Manet posted on his social media to celebrate the 32nd anniversary of the Paris Peace Agreement. His post was headed by a picture of his father, former Prime Minister Hun Sen, shaking hands with the late King Norodom Sihanouk, as two of the four signatories of the agreement, which was meant to transform Cambodia into a country that respects human rights and allows for multi-party democracy. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
The Prime Minister wrote that the Paris Peace Agreement was an opportunity and an important foundation for the restoration of the development of the nation to grow in all areas. He went on to remind readers that the peace is the foundation of human rights and freedoms. The Paris Peace Agreement was also signed by the Khmer Rouge and the Khmer People's National Liberation Front and officially ended the Vietnam-Cambodia War in 1991 and was the largest ever United Nations peacekeeping operation at the time. It was also the first time the UN took over as the government of the state. The United Nations Transitional Authority in Cambodia was created the next year to rule and maintain peace in Cambodia from 1992 to 1993 before handing over to the Cambodian government for its first free elections in 1993. That year, former Prime Minister Hun Sen contested the election results and showed royalist Funsipik win. He shared that the Prime Minister's position with Funsipik leader Norodom Sihanouk for the 4 years before ultimately taking over the position alone in 1998. During his last years as Prime Minister, Hun Sen criticised UNTAC for failing to bring peace to Cambodia, which he said was only established by his win-win policy that allowed Khmer Rouge defectors to join the government without consequences for their former allegiance. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Tourists will soon be able to enter Angkor Wat on the original main entrance path as the reconstructed bridge is officially inaugurated on November 4th under the presidency of King Norodom Sihamoni, following 7 years of reconstruction. Spian Ha is the main stone bridge that enters the temple complex from the west. While most temples in the region face east, Angkor Wat is true to its Hindu roots in honoring Vishnu, who faces west. According to the announcement of the Apsara Authority, the bridge will be open to tourists, while the floating bridge that was put in its place during reconstruction will also remain as an exit from the temple. This is the second time the bridge has been renovated since being made a World Heritage Site in 1991. The first renovation phase was from 1996 to 2007, while the second phase started in 2016 and will wrap up before the year's end. Spian Ha is 190 meters long, 11.6 meters wide, and 4 meters high, built of laterite and Pedro sandstone. It is decorated with unique dragon railings and is the main entrance of Angkor Wat. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The Apsara National Authority's restoration team found a total of 116 coins buried at the base of the pillars at Lauk Pagoda, also known as Wat Arun Ransai, located in Siem Reap's Prasat Bakong district. 3 types of coins were found, each measuring 13 to 15 millimeters in size. Some depict a swan with the Chinese character Ji, which means good luck, while others bear the words Prayat Tambong alongside the image of Garuda, the Hindu deity that appears as a birdman. Bles Giliang, co-director of the Prayasare Isanavarman Museum, explained that the swan coin was printed in Cambodia from the 16th to 19th centuries AD. Those bearing the Chinese character Ji were printed and put into circulation in Battambang during the 19th century. The Buddhist monastery of Lauk Pagoda has historical value in both religion and art because of its long history. The Lauk Pagoda was built with wooden components, tiled roofs, and brick walls around the mortar. The building has 4 rows of pillars. Its wooden pillars have been buried in the ground for many years and are in a state of disrepair, posing a risk for the monks who reside there and requiring experts to make necessary repairs. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Cambodia has sent 4 young people with disabilities to participate in the Global IT Challenge for Youth with Disabilities 2023 in the United Arab Emirates from October 23rd through 29. With the competition steadily growing since the 1990s, this year we'll see about 1,700 individuals competing from 18 countries, both online and in person. Minister of Social Affairs, Veterans, and Youth Rehabilitation, and Chairman of the Disability Action Council, Chia Someti, has championed the disability sector since taking office in late August. The General Secretariat of Cambodia's Disability Action Council asked that the public join in encouraging the disabled youth of the Kingdom of Cambodia to succeed for the sake of the motherland. While 4 young Cambodians are heading to Abu Dhabi, an additional 19 will also be participating in the online competition from October 25th through 27th. The Cambodian delegation will also participate in the Inclusive and Innovation Forum to discuss and approve the Abu Dhabi Agreement on the future development of digital information technology for persons with disabilities. This year's competition includes 6 categories, including designing a smart car, solving life problems with the internet, and content creation. Cambodia's Southeast Asian neighbors are competing, in addition to countries as far away as Ethiopia, Mongolia, and Pakistan. South Korea's Ministry of Health and Ministry of Foreign Affairs are hosting the event in the United Arab Emirates at the end of this month. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. At the invitation of the King of Saudi Arabia, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet led a high-level delegation to the inaugural ASEAN Gulf Cooperation Council Summit in Riyadh on Friday. While there, he was able to connect with the Saudi King, a Saudi CEO, and the Vietnamese Prime Minister. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
According to the press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on the conference, Prime Minister Hun Manet emphasised the important role of trade and investment in fostering economic growth and sustainability. He highlighted the crucial need to further support free and open trade, stimulate investment and create a conducive environment for the promoting business in the 2 regions in line with the economic trends of the 21st century and in response to global uncertainties. He urged the GCC and the Asian leaders to explore new sources of growth in key areas such as connectivity, digital economy, green energy transaction, banking and finance, regional supply chains and artificial intelligence. In the face of the food insecurity growth with climate change, he urged the GCC members to explore the possibility for further agricultural investment in addition to exchanging technologies, research and best practices, especially in developing the halal food industry. The Cambodian Prime Minister also expressed concern and regret over the escalating violence in the Middle East, saying that GCC members are in a unique position to broker a peaceful solution to the violence, which has already taken the life of the Cambodian veterinary student. He emphasised the need to provide full access to humanitarian aid and for the people of Gaza, half which are children. He also called for the immediate release of the Hamas hostages. The leaders agreed to continue the conference on a biannual basis, with the next one being held in Malaysia 2025. The Prime Minister also met with Saudi Arabia's King to discuss building stronger ties between the 2 countries in trade, investment and energy. They agree that the Saudi embassy will be open in Cambodia, complete with visa exemptions for diplomats and officials. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. The Cambodian Red Cross delivered humanitarian aid for over 2,000 families in Phnom Penh's southwestern district of Dong Khao yesterday, after flooding caused damage to houses and infrastructure. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Deputy Secretary General of the Cambodian Red Cross, Manari Sapek, and Phnom Penh Governor Kong Sreng held donation ceremonies at 2 pagodas in the area, where they also donated relief aid packages to the monks at the Kampong Gandol and Plek Talong pagodas. Each family were given 25 kilos of rice, 1 case of noodles, 10 cans of fish, 1 kit comprising of mosquito net, blanket, sarong and klama. They were also given 6 bottles of fish sauce, 1 case of drinking water and 30,000 reals, which is about $7.27. In total, 2,101 families in Dong Khao were affected by the heavy flooding over the weekend. This time last year, an estimated 85,482 households in 14 provinces have been reported to be affected by floods, with houses, infrastructure, roads, schools and health centres and agriculture land inundated. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Cambodia lost one of its most beloved icons today when 63-year-old Sambo, commonly known as the Wat Phnom elephant, died of dental disease at the Elephant Valley Project in Mondulkiri. People who have resided in Phnom Penh for decades may remember catching glimpses of Sambo as she traveled the streets of the capital city during the 1970s through the 1990s and was a fixture at Wat Phnom, where tourists fed her fruit and let their children take her for a ride. She was originally caught in the Oral Mountains before the Khmer Rouge era and was the sole survivor of 5 elephants her owner had caught and trained. After the war, she was brought to Phnom Penh and became a fixture of the city as she traveled to and from the pagoda through city streets. She was retired in 2014 to the Elephant Valley Project, where she spent the last 9 years of her life amid the forested foothills of the Annamite Mountains in Mondulkiri, along with her mahout, or keeper, of 20 years named Sopal. According to the EVP, Sambo died today after a long-term dental infection had her in deteriorating health for the last month. The EVP said that they are heartbroken and a little in shock and that they will miss her terribly, especially her dedicated mahout, Sopal, who has been with her for over 20 years. According to the World Wildlife Fund, the average life expectancy of an Asian elephant is about 60 years in the wild, as it needs about 150 kilograms of food per day. Director of the Forestry Administration, Kyle Omalis, told EAC News that he was deeply saddened by the loss of Sambo, a symbol of Wat Phnom for decades. According to Keo Omalis, there are currently 75 domesticated elephants and about 400 to 600 wild elephants living in Cambodia. Kristen Winters, EAC News. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, Dit Tina, said that large fishing nets remain a challenge for river dolphins in the conservation area and asked that people work together to save the critically endangered species. He noted that dolphins are especially vulnerable to getting caught in nets because, unlike fish, they are mammals that breathe air to survive. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Mekong Dolphin Photo Exhibition on Wednesday evening at the Institut Français in Phnom Penh, Minister Dit Tina said that the conservation of dolphins is not a job for one organization, but requires the efforts of many. He said that dolphins are different from fish and that they feed on milk and use lungs to breathe, making conservation work difficult. He said that this vulnerability is a challenge when dolphins get trapped in large nets and that they need a special place to live. Cambodia has designated a 180-kilometer stretch of the Mekong River between Kratie and Stung Treng provinces as a protected area for the dolphins. Cambodia's World Wildlife Fund country director, Sang Teak, said that the area where the dolphins live is the cleanest and most suitable place for them to live and provides the best ecosystem for them.
ខ្ញុំយល់ថាជាជំហានដំបូងគឺបញ្ហាការបំផុសប្រជាពលរដ្ឋឲ្យយល់ដឹងអំពីសារៈសំខាន់សារៈប្រយោជន៍របស់សត្វដែលកម្រនៅលោកនេះហ្នឹងជាចំណុចសំខាន់តម្រូវឲ្យប្រជាពលរដ្ឋជាពិសេសអ្នកដែលនេសាទប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ដែលខុសច្បាប់ហ្នឹងឲ្យយល់អំពីសារៈសំខាន់របស់វាជាមុនដើម្បីគាត់ចូលរួមក្នុងការគ្រប់គ្រងគេហៅថា
He said that people's understanding is important and must be supported by strict law enforcement. Large nets and electroshock devices pose the largest risk to the river dolphins, killing 33 individuals from 2020 to 2023, with most of them being caught in nets. According to data from 2020, scientists estimate that only 89 adult Mekong dolphins are living along Cambodia's Mekong River. Last year, the last Irrawaddy dolphin in Laos was found dead after being caught in fishing gear. Singer Mia Soksopia expressed support for the conservation of dolphins in Cambodia, calling on people to participate in the promotion and conservation of the critically endangered species.
យើងក៏ជាធម្មជាតិដែរនៃធម្មជាតិផ្នែកមួយនៃធម្មជាតិដែរមនុស្សអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវតែបំពេញឲ្យគ្នាទៅវិញក៏ប៉ុន្តែយើងកុំភ្លេចយើងអ